Councilmember Coombs, do you have any questions on that? All right, and so moved. We'll approve the minutes. Any announcements?
I do not. I will just say we had Global Fest last weekend, and it was really well attended. Beautiful event. Nice having it back after several years of not having it. And I'm also very proud of staff and all the other city entities that participated in it to make it such a success. I was on site all day, and yeah, just well done and looked like it was a lot of fun. And we had our pros master plan consultant out there, Sasaki, and others getting lots of input from the community. And so that was also very exciting for us. I don't have any future looking announcements, but thank you.
All right, anyone else? Well, if not, we'll move straight into the agenda item, which is Mr. McNeil, talk about the golf division.
Yeah, good morning, council members. Thank you for the time this morning. Just kind of want to give you a little update on what's been going on with the golf division. And so, again, my name is Doug McNeil. I'm the manager of golf for the city. Been with the city in the golf division for 25 years and about half that time in my current position. So, as you know, we have 5 golf courses. Spring Hill is kind of our an executive golf course, which is basically means it's just a shorter golf course than a full regulation size course. And so it's a good place for people just getting started in the game. It's not quite as challenging. And then kind of our mid-level golf courses are Aurora Hills and Meadow Hills. Again, kind of mid-level fees also. And then Murphy Creek and Saddle Rock are our 2 newest golf courses, just kind of bigger properties, bigger golf courses, kind of designed with a lot of tournament business in mind. So we do a lot of tournaments out there, and then those are our highest priced facilities as well. Go ahead, Lauren. We are an enterprise fund, and so we have a budget of about $8.5 million. This time of the year, we usually employ about 300 people. The last year or two, it's been a little bit of a struggle in some cases to get that many people hired, but when we're fully staffed up, that's about how many we employ. And then you can see our mission statement there. Go ahead, Lauren. The way our organization is structured is that our golf courses basically are split up into 2 different operations. On one side, you have the golf pro shop operations and everything that goes on within the clubhouse. And that's, most of those program, any kind of programming, golf instruction, tournaments, leagues, any kind of activity that's associated with people, going out to play on the golf course is handled on that side of the operation. And then obviously on the other side is the turf care side of our business, where we have very talented staff that's devoted solely to just maintaining the golf courses. So on the pro shop side, we normally have 2 full-time staff members. We have a head professional and an assistant professional. And then they have quite a few staff members working for them. And on the maintenance side, there's normally 3 or 4 full-time staff, depending on the nature of the golf course. But we would have a superintendent, an assistant superintendent, irrigation specialist, and then also an equipment specialist. And then also, as you know, we have a golf advisory board that we meet with once a month. And they are very helpful to us. They're kind of our eyes and ears out there in the community. We like to hear the good and the bad. We like to think that we do a good job, but we also know that there are times when we fall short, and our golf advisory board members are the ones that are out there playing regularly and talking to people, and they hear things. And so they're the ones that bring back input to us on a monthly basis. We normally meet March through October, so we do not meet in the winter months. But anyway, we have pretty much the majority of our committee this year is new, so it's been a little bit different dynamic, but they're a lively group. We've had fun with them. And then also supporting us from a marketing standpoint, we have Karen Reveille, which many of you may know as Kalo. She does a great job for us. She's worked for the golf division for a long time. She now actually works in the marketing and special events division, but her primary focus is on golf. So she's very active for us. And then also supporting us is Susie Jakewith from the business services division. Susie's also worked for golf for a long time, but is now in that other division. So go ahead, Lauren. Just a little bit of history on the golf courses. Roy Hills was the first golf course built back in 1969. And then the city purchased the executive golf course, which is now Spring Hill, back in 73. We also purchased Meadow Hills in 77, which was a former country club. And then we actually built Center Hills, which was a small par 3 golf course in 88. And then Saddle Rock was opened as kind of our first big championship course in 97. And then in 98, the Fitzsimmons Redevelopment Authority asked us to take over management of the Fitzsimmons golf course. And so at the time, we thought that was just going to be like a 5-year venture for us to help them out until the campus really needed that land for development. And ultimately, it ended up being a 20-year partnership for us. So we were very fortunate over those years to kind of have that as part of our offering of golf courses, and it was it was a unique part of what we had to offer. And so we were sad to see it go, but ultimately we knew that it was going to happen one day. We were fortunate to have it for as long as we did. And then Murphy Creek opened in 2000. Center Hills, unfortunately, back in 2013, the water department kind of realized that when we had major weather events, rain events, that our containment facility for our reuse water had the potential to overflow. And, we did not have the proper permitting, for that reuse water to be, going into drainage areas. And so we either had to make the decision to spend about $750,000 on a new containment facility or close the golf course. And, Center Hills was a nice amenity for us. Again, being a short golf course, it was great for beginners, but it was not a real moneymaker for us. And so we decided that with Spring Hill just down the road a couple miles, and it also being a shorter golf course and conducive to people getting into the game, that we made that tough decision to close Center Hills. And then Fitzsimmons closed in 2017 when the FRA finally needed that land for development. Next slide. In our efforts to encourage active lifestyles, we obviously offer a lot of different programming. One of the biggest programs that I'm proud of is our Kids Play Free program. Every day after 2:00, kids can play free with adults. And it's been a huge thing for us for, I think probably at least 20 years. I think if we were not the first, I think we were one of the very first in the metro area to offer a program like that. And now it's most courses have something, maybe not to the extent that we do, but something similar. But the whole idea is that we know golf can be an expensive sport, and we wanted to try and find ways to be able to allow families to get out and enjoy something together, and not have to spend too much money. So, we don't want to take away too much prime time from golfers that are, willing to pay regular rates, but at the same time, we want to offer something. So the after 2:00 program has has been very beneficial for a lot of families, and it's gotten a lot of kids into the game, and so we're very proud of that. And then we offer a number of events, fun events, big person, little person, couples classic. And then we also offer for the more seasoned competitive players. We offer the Aurora Amateur, which is coming up the end of September at Meadow Hills, which is a big amateur tournament for this Front Range area. And then also the Aurora Senior Amateur, which just took place a couple of weeks ago at Aurora Hills. And then fun clinics, mother-daughter, senior clinics, and then junior programming is obviously huge for us in the summertime. All kinds of summer camps and PGA junior leagues are going on. Next slide. You're probably a little bit interested in maybe what COVID has meant to our operations. And we closed our courses for 6 weeks, starting back in March of 2020. During that 6-week closure, we lost over $1 million in revenue. So it was a very scary time for us because we really, just like everyone else, we hadn't been through that before. We didn't know what the future was going to hold. And fortunately for us, unfortunately we had the pandemic, but we were one of the few entities that actually benefited from that. And I think it's mainly just due to the fact that golf is just kind of has a natural social distancing aspect to it. And because of that, it was really one of the few activities that was available to people. And so I think it brought a lot of new people to the game. People that hadn't played golf before were trying it just because it was one of the few activities that was available to them. And it's just kind of blossomed from there. I think we've tried to do everything we can to keep those people engaged, and so we've really seen a big increase in play and activity ever since we opened our golf courses back up. As you can see from the rounds and revenue there, the trends over recent years, even though the pandemic really hit in 2020 and we were closed for a while, once we got ramped back up again and interest was really ramping up, we ended up with rounds and revenue up 10%. And then in 2021, last year, things just really blew up for us. It was hard for us to keep up, especially when we were really struggling to hire staff and we were so busy. But, rounds and revenue were both up significantly. And then this year, it's just kind of continued. We again are very fortunate. As of the end of July, our rounds are actually up over last year, and revenue is also up over last year. So, it's again, we wish we wouldn't have had the pandemic, but we are fortunate and hopeful that the interest in the game can continue long term for us. Next slide. We understand and certainly recognize that our future is built around, juniors getting into the game, and so a big part of our focus, especially, throughout the summer months and the golf season, is just a variety of junior programs. And the biggest thing, in my professional career in this industry is, if you want to have a successful junior program, it's all about just making it fun for the kids, because as we all know, a lot of times they don't have a long attention span. And so the more fun things we can do to just kind of keep them engaged, the better and the more fun they're going to have. So you can see some of the different props that we use out there on the golf courses. And so we try and have as much fun with them as we can. Next slide, Horn. One of the things that we've we've done in recent years, many years ago, there's a national organization called the First Tee, which is, they're a huge foundation, and they have chapters all across the country. And they have a national marketing campaign and a lot of resources behind what they do. And they had a chapter in Denver for a long time, and we're looking for a way to try and expand their footprint within the Front Range area. And so they approached us, and I quickly grabbed on to that opportunity to partner with them. And so all of our junior programming, our junior camps are run through the First Tee now. And they just, because they've been doing this for so long, and they're the thing that I like about them, and we all like about them, is the fact that even though they utilize golf to teach kids skills, and it's really focused on teaching lifelong skills that they're going to use, away from the golf course. As you can see, the 9 core values that are stressed there. That's what impresses me, and so we, it's certainly about golf instruction, but it's more about just helping these kids grow as human beings, and helping them find the skills that are going to make them successful in life. And we do that through the game of golf. And so it's been good for us. We utilize their resources. They have staff that can help us if we're short on staff. They offer some programming, and so it's been a big deal for us, and we look forward to that partnership for a long time, hopefully. Next slide. Obviously, with all that we have going on, marketing plays a big part in what we do. And Karen, again, does a wonderful job. She's an avid golfer herself. She used to be in the radio business, radio advertising, and so she has a lot of contacts, and she does a great job for us. But some of the key things that we do, we offer a Premier Card, which is kind of our loyalty program. We've never been real big on discounting, which is maybe different than a lot of golf courses approach, but it's always been a big belief of mine, and I think most of our staff, that if you offer a good product and you offer it at a reasonable price, there really shouldn't be a big reason to do a lot of discounting, because when you do start discounting in the minds of the consumer, it kind of lowers the value of your product. And so we try and stay away from that, but we know discounting is important to a lot of people. And so what we've done over the years is offer a Premier Card where it's offered at several different levels, and based on the level of purchase, you get a certain amount of free value added to that card. Like if you buy a $500 card, you get, I believe, $625 in value, and it kind of goes down from there, depending on what level you buy. But anyway, over the years, I think when we first started it a long time ago, people thought there must be some kind of a catch to it, so they were a little hesitant. But over the years, especially just the regular players that play with us all the time, it's kind of a no-brainer, because you have a built-in discount every time you use it. So it's become huge for us. As you can see, we sell like $1.5 million worth of cards every year. So it's and I think once people have spent that money on a card, then they feel, obviously they know they've already invested with us, and so that keeps them coming back to us, as opposed to maybe spending more money at other golf courses where they haven't already invested up front. So and then our other just marketing activities, obviously social media, radio, we'll kind of touch on those in a minute, recreation guide, hotel brochures, and then we certainly work with Visit Aurora to try and come up with ways of attracting more people, more groups to the city. And then we're a participant every year in the Golf Expo, kind of the big golf expo that goes on in the Denver area every year. Next slide. Here's a picture of the Golf Expo and our booth there. They didn't have the expo in 21 because of COVID, and then this past year it was downtown for the first time. It's always been at the Merchandise Mart in the past, and this was the first year that they had it at the convention center downtown. We were a little unsure how that was going to go, but I think it turned out to be a success. The attendance was good, and when you see the birds there in the picture, Karen has developed a good relationship with a local entity called the Birds of Prey Foundation over the years. And so what we've done with them, and one of their executives is a big golfer. And so we've kind of partnered up with them in a way to where they actually bring in birds, and they have the birds stationed, right next to our booth. And needless to say, if you're walking around a convention hall and suddenly you got bald eagles and things like that that are on display in real life, it attracts a lot of people. So it just naturally brings a lot of people to our booth, and so it's been a fun thing for us over the years. Next slide. Just an example of some of the ads that we do. A lot of ads we do on our own, and then others we do with other divisions within our department, and then even with other departments. So next slide. The golf calendar is another fun thing that Karen is involved with every year. These are calendars that we have available for free at all of our golf courses. Over the years, we've kind of struggled a little bit with photographers, and she finally found a good one in 2021. He did some great work for us and came up with a lot of great photographs that we now have available to us. And so last year she kind of had a fun promotion where she had a poll on social media to kind of help pick the cover of the calendar, and so that was fun. Next slide. That just kind of gives you an idea of our Facebook followers and Twitter followers. And then our email newsletter goes out to about 23,000 contacts. Next slide. One of the new things that we did this year was that if you're familiar with 104.3 The Fan radio, Stokely and Zach By wanted to kind of get into the game of golf, and so again, Karen used to be in radio and has a lot of close ties with these groups, and came to the realization that we could do something fun with them. And so what we decided to do was we decided to have Zach come to each one of our golf courses, and he actually played one of his first rounds with the head pro and the superintendent at each golf course. And then he would go back and talk about his experiences on the radio. And we've gotten a lot of mileage out of that. I can't tell you the number of times that, Karen will send me a text and say she just heard Zach on the radio talking about us again. And so it was a fun thing for her and our staff. And, he's a nice guy, and I think he's enjoyed our staff. And so it's been fun to kind of develop that relationship, and just hear about, him talking really fondly of us and the programming that we have. And so that was a great idea by Karen this year. Next slide. Obviously our bread and butter is the general public and the individual players, but we also know that we have opportunities to attract a lot of players that are visiting the area. And so, many years ago, we spent a lot of time working with the Gaylord as they were just starting up their operations. And, we had a lot of their staff come out and visit our golf courses. And since then, we've tried our best to keep them supplied with information that they can supply to their guests and groups that are interested in having hotel outings. My background prior to the city was as a golf professional for two major resorts in different parts of the country. And so I knew the importance of having plenty of rental sets for golf courses that, because most people that are coming to a hotel for a convention don't necessarily bring their golf clubs. But if there's a golf, golf program or a golf tournament that's offered, or a golf outing, they'd like to participate, but they don't have golf clubs. So we wanted to make sure that when they called us and expressed an interest in utilizing one of our golf courses, that we would have plenty of golf clubs available for them. And so those are stored at Murphy Creek, and And just because of Murphy Creek's proximity, they're the ones that have benefited by having a lot of golf tournaments out there from the Gaylord. But it's, we continue to work with them and other hotels to develop stay and play type golf packages as well. Next slide. This year, just new things for us. We did put in a new software system. In the past, our point of sale and our golf reservation systems have all kind of been piecemealed together with different softwares from different entities. And this was the first time. It's been a goal of mine for many years to try to get that fully, everything from the same entity. And so we were able finally to do that this year. And that's been able to, or allowed us to kind of streamline many of our processes and open the door to some new things. The second bullet point there is, our vendor is Golf Now, which is probably the biggest, golf software supplier in the country. And they also have the biggest exposure from a golf booking site standpoint. Golf Now is where a lot of golfers go to book their tee times. And so we worked out an arrangement with them. In the past, we've always tried to focus and steer people to our website. But yet, in order for us to get this software at a more reasonable price, we needed to be able to offer some tee times on their site. And so we've started doing that on a limited basis. But we only do it a few days out in relation to our website, where people can go 10 days out. And also, if you go to their website, you have to pay a booking fee. You don't have to do that on our site. So we continue to stress that to the public. But anyway, it's been good for us, because I think what we're finding is that a lot of people that are booking on Golf Now are new faces, new people that are experiencing our golf courses that they haven't been able to book on that side in the past. And so I think we're bringing in new business, and it's business that is coming in just a few days ahead of time with tee times that we have remaining, as opposed to displacing people that, that would be booking 10 days out. It's just kind of filling those other tee times. So been a good program for us. And then the other big thing we wanted to accomplish this year, no shows has been a huge problem for us over the years, and we never really had the ability to charge no shows because we didn't have a credit card on file. This new software gives us that ability. People that go online to book a tee time with us now have to put a credit card in and have that on file. So that's really brought down our no shows significantly. I mean, I think we've already probably gone well above paying for the increased expense of the software just with our reduction in no shows. So we're going to continue to kind of fine tune that and how we charge no shows in the future. We've been very lenient this year, but next year we'll fine tune that even more. And then the other thing we accomplished was just converting the dance room at Meadow Hills into a golf instruction studio. And that's kind of opened the door for a lot of off-season programming, and it's also attracted some teaching partners to us that we didn't have in the past. Next slide. And again, these are just some of the teaching partnerships that we've entered into this past year. The new teaching studio at Meadow Hills is what really started attracting people to us, that we had something like that. And our staff, our golf professional staff, in some cases is we don't have a big staff, and some of them, I felt like we weren't able to maybe meet all the demand for teaching. And so I wanted to open the door for certain situations for us to partner up with some other entities. And so these are well-known golf groups in the area that now utilize our facilities, and we certainly make a percentage of their income, but it's been a great addition to our programming. Next slide. Just the challenges. I mean, things are going good for us right now, but we certainly have challenges. We don't know how long the surgeon business is going to last following COVID. there's no question, there's a reality out there that the younger generations are maybe not as interested in golf as the baby boomers and other generations. And so it's really, it's up to us to find ways to make the game fun for people and appear to be fun and to keep them engaged. Especially all the new people that have come to the game in the last 2 years. So we have our, work cut out for us, but we think our programming is aimed at doing that. And then also there's just fewer people looking for work in this industry. Financially, just trying to keep fees affordable at the same time that, as everybody knows, all the costs are going up. Our wages are going up significantly in order for us to be competitive. And then also just trying to find ways to fund big projects. We probably have at least $12 million worth of projects out there, big projects, 2 new irrigation systems, clubhouse remodel, just converting 2 remaining facilities from gas to electric golf carts, and then just replacing turf care equipment. One good thing we have going for us is our debt on Murphy Creek Golf Course will finally be expired in 2026. So that'll kind of open the door for us to maybe be taking on some new debt and address some of the bigger projects that are out there for us. We retired the Saddle Rock debt several years ago, so this is really our only remaining debt on the books right now. And then we know we play a big part in the water conservation efforts by the city. We have a big footprint out there, and our efforts have been ongoing for the last 20 years to try and reduce the amount of turf that we irrigate, and then the processes that we use to put water on the golf course. We try and be as efficient as possible, and so we know that we need to continue to look for ways to be even more efficient and refine our processes, and we try and do that in a way where we're not going to too much negatively impact the customer experience. Next slide. And then just the financial health for the golf fund. We started the year with a balance of $5.4 million compared to $3.3 million in 2021 and $2.9 million in 2020. 10 years ago, our fund balance was below $1 million. So $1 million, you can have a couple months of bad weather and go through $1 million just like that. So it's been my goal, since being in this position, to try and build up our fund balance and put us in a better position to be able to handle those unknowns that are always going to come every once in a while that really hit us financially. And then, this year, just things are going good again. Business is good. Revenue projections are really up 1.3 million above budget. I actually think they'll be probably quite a bit more than that actually now, the way things are going. So, but then at the same time, our expenses are up almost $1 million as well. So, in summary, we're in a good shape. I think we're well positioned for, meeting our operational costs and the needs in the years to come. The biggest challenge for us is just going to be, funding the big capital projects and trying to keep our staff equipped with the proper equipment in order to keep our product at a level that the public expects. So, next slide. I think that's it. So, any questions for me? I'm sorry, I think I went a little long there.
That's all right. We have time. So
Okay.
thank you, Doug. Councilmember Coombs, do you have any questions?
You more or less covered the 2 big ones I had, which were regarding water conservation and electrification of the golf carts. I had heard in the past that there were some issues at Murphy Creek with being able to use electric golf courses or golf carts. Has that been figured out?
Well, Murphy Creek is already outfitted with electrical capability. Many years ago, when we were, in a position to get a new fleet of carts, we chose to go with gas carts at that point in time, even though we had had electric prior to that, just because the reliability of the golf cart batteries, the electric batteries, was not very good at that point in time. And we were experiencing just constant downtime with our golf carts because they would not hold a charge. And just the amount of time that we spent going out on the golf course, having to tow in golf carts and the public being upset, it was of such a magnitude that we decided that we were going to switch to gas golf carts at that point in time because the reliability of them was much more proven. And so, but I think in the last few years, there is no question that there's been tremendous improvement and effort put into improving electric batteries for golf carts. And so, so our next fleet certainly for Murphy Creek will be electric. And we have a new fleet that's going to be going in next year. Actually, it was supposed to go in this year, but going in next year at Saddle Rock. And that will be an electric fleet with the new lithium batteries. And so, and then we have a project in the queue with Public Works to convert Spring Hill and Meadow Hills are the two facilities that do not have the infrastructure in place for electric golf carts. And so, so hopefully, I know it takes a long time to get these projects up on the front of mind for everybody involved. And so it may be next year before they get to our project, but that's certainly our goal to eventually convert all the facilities over to electric.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Councilmember. No, Doug, you kind of answered my questions too, I think, throughout your presentation. Good presentation, and thank you as usual. Having worked with you, I know prior, you do a good job with golf, and I know you do a great job with your staff, do a great job as well. So thank you for your continued efforts and, keeping it sustainable and moving in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all your support.
All right, so now next on the agenda is the Colorado Freedom Memorial Center Park and name change. I'm not sure who that is.
Yes, good morning, members of council. My name is Kurt Bish. I'm planning supervisor in the Planning, Design, and Construction Division of the Pros Department. And so we spoke last month about this project, and I don't have a slide presentation to share with you this morning. Instead, I'm just going to give a verbal update of where the project currently stands and what has happened between the last meeting and today. So the project is still moving forward as planned. What this means is we expect that the Colorado Freedom Memorial Center will be taken to full council early in 2023 to approve amendments to the existing concessionaire or concession agreement. You might recall that the concession agreement is the legal instrument which gives the foundation the authority to operate the memorial on city park property. And then also at that same time that we take that to council, will likely be asking for the memorial to be designated as a park and also to name it. So for now, we're still waiting for the receipt of additional information from the Colorado Freedom Memorial Foundation. And then once we receive that, we'll be able to coordinate further with other stakeholders that we need to coordinate with to get approval for this project. So what has happened in the past month also is the foundation has actually engaged their design professionals to refine the design concept that we shared with you at the last meeting. You might recall that the concept showed the footprint of the building and then the footprint of the associated improvements, namely the parking around the building. So that has to be refined, has to eventually be developed into construction drawings. But to do that, they also have to take into account a slew of different comments, different feedback and input received from other departments. So council might be aware that there is a pre-application meeting that this city offers to developers and their consultants who wish to pursue development projects within the city. So in the past month, we scheduled and held a pre-application meeting. It wasn't a face-to-face meeting, it was just library time. And what that means is we shared the information with different departments. They had an opportunity to review that information and then compile a list of their standards, requirements, and things that would come into play in order for that project to continue to move forward. So the comment letter has been received that was distributed to the foundation last week. So they will be reviewing the comments received and then making appropriate changes to the design. So hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll be able to receive more detailed plans from the foundation so that, as I said, we can continue to coordinate with other stakeholders involved in the project. So those stakeholders include the Buckley Space Force Base. I mentioned at the last meeting that we need to make sure that this building, which is pretty close to the base, won't interfere with their base operations, namely the radomes, the big golf ball structures that are radar oriented. So we have since reached out to base officials and gotten at least a preliminary determination from them that the project will be compatible with base operations. But as soon as we have more detailed plans from the foundation, we will share that with the base again. And that'll be a second opportunity for us to be, very sure that there won't be any incompatibility between the projects. Also, another stakeholder that we're needing to coordinate further with is the Arapahoe County Open Spaces Program. The land, the city property that the memorial is located on was both purchased with as well as improved using Arapahoe County funding, open space funding. So we have reached out to Open Spaces staff, and as soon as we get that more detailed information on the project, we'll be able to address if there are any concerns with that future use on that site. And then also, I spoke before about the Planning and Zoning Commission approval. We're still on schedule, I believe, to present to the Planning and Zoning Commission in November, seeking conditional use approval for this building within the park. And that's because a visitor center is not a use that's allowed by right in that zoning district. It does require conditional use approval. So again, we don't want to initiate that process until we're confident that we have enough detailed information in hand to provide as backup materials for that item on their agenda. So again, we're kind of in a holding pattern. We have been making some progress, reaching out, trying to coordinate with other stakeholders, but we really need additional detailed information from the foundation, which will hopefully be coming in the next few weeks for us to continue with that process. So that's about a summary as to what's been going on. I'm available to answer any questions if members of council have any at this point.
Councilmember Coombs, do you have any questions?
Nope, that all makes sense, and look forward to kind of seeing everything move along through that probably going to be somewhat lengthy process.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I don't have anything, Curtis. So great updates, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
That's right. Thank you.
All right, looks like we're moving pretty quick here. So next is miscellaneous matters for consideration. Anyone?
None for me.
Good.
Everybody good? All right, topics for next month's meeting.
And I do not have anything to share on that now. We've got a number of items that we're working simultaneously, and it will just depend on where we're at here in the next few weeks. But yeah, I don't have anything to share right now.
Okay. All right. Before we adjourn, anything from anyone else? Councilmember Coombs, everything good?
Well, I do wonder, I don't know when the last time the committee had just kind of a general update on rec centers. I know we've had a number of questions, concerns, etc. from constituents. So I don't know if it would be better to wait until Southeast Rec Center is opening to do that, but maybe at some point doing just a general update on how things are with our rec centers, what staffing issues we may be facing, what programming is available, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe we'll be doing that the last quarter. We are internally working on what our hours would look like for next year. We do have some work with staff that we need to do as well. And in consideration of some recent comments from the public, so that yes, we can do that, and we are working on that, but it is more, the timing would be the last quarter of this year to share that information.
All right. With that, any other questions? All right, not. We'll give you back all your time back. Got some time to. So I will adjourn this meeting and see all of you hopefully in the future and next month. So
Thank you all.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
bye.